Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So another fight just got announced today. It is Sergei Pavlovich versus Alexander Volkov. This is also on the Saudi Arabia fight card, set to take place June 22nd of this year. Very hyped for this fight as well. This is going to be the co-main event to Chimaev and Whitaker. So let's get right into it. Starting off, we're going to look at Sergei Pavlovich's record. He fights out of Russia. He is 31 years old, 6'3". Fights at heavyweight, trains out of Eagles MMA. His record is 18 wins, 2 losses. 15 of those wins have came by knockout. 3 wins have came by decision. Both of his losses, however, have came by knockout. But it's also heavyweight, so a lot of people get knocked out. His notable wins have came over Curtis Blades, knocked him out 3 minutes and 8 seconds into the first round. He also beat Tai Tuivasa 54 seconds into the first round, which is insane. Tai Tuivasa is an extremely tough fighter, very game fighter as well. He also beat Derek Lewis 55 seconds into the first round by knockout. He also beat Maurice Green 2 minutes and 11 seconds into the fight. Yeah, those are all of his notable wins over big names. His losses, however, were more recent, or at least one of his knockout losses were more recent. By Tom Aspinall, 1 minute and 9 seconds into the first round. That was a pretty crazy fight too. His first loss in the UFC and his first loss in general was back in 2018 against Alexander Volkov, 4 minutes and 21 seconds into the first round by knockout. And yeah, both of those guys are extremely good fighters. Even though Alexander Volkov doesn't have a very good chin, he is a extremely good fighter, very good strikes, very good grappling, and just all around an animal. Now let's look at Alexander Volkov, also known as Drago, fights out of Moscow, Russia. He is 35 years old, 6'7", also fights at heavyweight, trains in the Sterla team. He has 37 wins, 10 losses. 24 of those wins have came by knockout, 4 of those wins by submission, and then 9 decisions. His losses are 2 by knockout, 3 by submission, and then 5 decision losses. His notable wins have came over Tai Tuivasa, Alexander Romanov, Arsenio Rosenstrike, Marcin Tybura, Alistair Overeem, Walt Harris, Greg Hardy, Fabricio Verdum, Stefan Struve, Roy Nelson, Tim Johnson. Yeah, those are all of the big names that he has beaten. His first loss came back in 2009, which is a very long time ago. Lost by armbar, 2 minutes and 50 seconds into the first round. His second loss came from Maxim Grishin, also by submission, 2 minutes and 39 seconds into the first round as well. Then he lost in 2010 again to Pat Bennett in round 4. That was by decision. Then he went on a pretty crazy win streak. Then he lost to Vitaly Minakov back in 2013. Then he lost to Tony Johnson 2015 by decision, lost to Czech Congo by decision back in 2015 in Bellator. His second fight in the UFC was against Roy Nelson, which is pretty crazy. Not a loss, but still pretty crazy second fight in the UFC. His first loss in the UFC was Derek Lewis by knockout 4 minutes and 49 seconds into the third round, which was pretty insane. I do recommend watching that fight back, even though he lost. Derek Lewis had a crazy comeback. Alexander Volkov was looking like an animal. He was beating the absolute tar out of Derek Lewis up until that knockout. Then he lost to Curtis Blades by decision. I do not recommend watching that fight back. Then he lost to Cyril Gane by decision. Then he lost to Tom Aspinall by a armbar 3 minutes and 45 seconds into the first round. His losses, however, are not a very good representation on how good of a fighter he is. This guy is an absolute beast, very good striking, very tough fighter as well. If I had to pick a fighter to win right now, I would definitely lean towards Sergei Pavlovich. He is the younger fighter. I also believe he is the hungrier fighter. However, I wouldn't be surprised to see Alexander Volkov have a smart defensive game plan and really try to push Pavlovich to the later rounds and really test his gas tank. However, Pavlovich is not an easy guy to avoid on the feet. He comes at you with a ton of pressure, hits extremely hard, hence his 84% knockout stat, which is pretty crazy. However, he has been knocked out twice, so you catch a heavyweight kick to the chin, I don't care who you are, that's definitely going to at least wobble you. Yeah, that's about it. What are your guys' thoughts and opinions on this matchup? Do you think that Volkov is a lamb for slaughter in this fight, or do you think that he has the juice to pull off the upset? Yeah, if you guys like the content, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a great week.